This is Kyle Juszczyk, and you're listening to Nothing But Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, sweeps to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, sweeps down the sideline, throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers, we can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? Y'all know what time it is already, man. Guys, it's game day. The Niners are out there. They're about to take the field. I'm watching Brock Purdy warm up. I don't see any raindrops in the way right now. They told me I should be worried about a wet one, man. Hey, man, I'm excited, guys. I hope you guys are all excited too, man. Breezy is out there right now. I'm going to try to get my man to make an appearance during the pregame show. I got some guests lined up. Guest and a half, one in the past. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens with that, man. I got to keep my phone on me right now. Let me run through these formalities. I'm really excited, guys. I got to calm down. All right, we're going to talk about playoffs. We're going to talk about regular season. We're going to talk about your superstitions. Everybody out there doing their part. Make sure we get this dub today because I don't think it's going to be as easy as we want it to be. But let's start with these formalities, guys. If this is your first time here on the YouTube page, I want to thank you guys for checking this out. Hit that like button if you enjoy the show. Subscribe after you do that. And then turn on your notifications so you know exactly when we are going live. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. Those handles are nothing but 9. That is the number 9. Nothing but 9. ERS. So make sure you guys get on over there, man. Show us some love. Subscribe on all those platforms as well. Then we have Facebook and Twitch. Those handles are spelled all the way out. Nothing but Niners. No numbers in there anywhere. Make sure you guys head on over there. All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget, guys, Patreon is the place to be today. We are going to have a party literally during the game. All right. We are going to party the whole time. Every touchdown that goes off, we setting off fireworks. I'm DTP today. I am disturbing the peace. I'm telling y'all right now for every 49ers touchdown. And if we win, I got a grand finale of fireworks that I can't wait for y'all to see, man. Make sure you guys are there. Head on over right now, patreon.com/NB9ERS. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for the show, some feedback, anything like that, people you want us to collaborate with it, something like that. Maybe I did a collab and you didn't like it, Mike, man. I really wasn't feeling you on that last show. Whatever it is, guys, send it on over, okay? NB9ERS at nothingbutniners.com. That is the email. It comes directly to my phone. So if you guys have any questions over there, get it, man. Get it. All right, I'm going to start with my first guest. My man is in here already. I see him down there. Give me the thumbs up when you're ready, big dog, and we're going to go ahead and do this. Ooh, I got the double thumbs up, y'all. Here we go, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Rayshawn Haylock, man. What's going on, big dog? How you doing, man?
Hey, it's the red paint. It's go time. It's go time. It's go time. I'm feeling good, man. How about you, man? Happy New Year, by the way.
That's right, man. It's the first time seeing you this year. Happy New Year, man. I'm doing good, man. You should have seen me. We had a birthday party for my nephew at 12 o'clock, and I'm watching the clock like, oh, man. I'm like, babe, we got to go. We got to run out. And then we're picking up a puppy tomorrow. I'm driving out tonight after the game all the way to Ohio. I got like a 7-8 hour drive to go and do that. And then we see this great deal on a piece of furniture for the dogs online. And my brother-in-law was like, hey, I'll go pick that up for you. I know you got to go do your show. I'll bring it to the house. So I'm expecting somebody to be knocking on the door soon. But it's all good, man. It's a lot of energy going on. And I need it. I need the distraction. I need to feel a little chaotic. Otherwise, I start pacing and I become like a nervous Nelly. I get really nervous if I just have too much time to think about everything. So Ray, I want to ask you a couple questions going into this game, man. I listened to the pod. I know y'all are feeling okay about this one, but has there any doubt, like between the weather, Pete Carroll's confidence, like has anything put any doubt in your mind that the Niners just might be in for a long one today?
Let me tell you what Pete did this week. Pete hit us with the old he hit us with the old coach speak. Unfortunately, we're playing the Niners, and man, they got a bunch of dudes like he hit us with one of those. Like and you don't really hear pro coaches do that, right? Like you hear college coaches do that all the time, right? Look, I may say this to the media, yada yada yada, but behind the scenes, nobody out there respects you. Nobody thinks you can win this game. We all we got. We going on the road like this is it. Like and he's selling it to his team, and so he's just cranking it up all week. So off top, I know where Pete is, right? And that's what he's doing. And he's got a bunch of young dogs over there, and it's going to work for a young team like that, right? I mean, you try to do that with a bunch of vets, you might not be able to rile them up that way. But Pete got some young dogs over there, so he got that going for him. The thing about it is, and I was kind of on that tip, and you know the yin and yang between me and ED. I'm always I'm the nervous Nelly of the bunch, right? And he always kind of has to reel me in and keep me from jumping over and all that. And so as time has progressed, I mean, look, anytime you're talking about the NFL and playoffs, it's one game, right? It's one and done, right? So that leaves open, a bunch of minutiae, anything, right? Anything can happen in a one game scenario, right? Like that you just got that 60 minutes to perform. But when I look at it, and I'll just go back to, I'm not even going to take the week 2 game into consideration because that was so long ago. I'll just look at the most recent game on Thursday night where Brock Purdy went up there and led them to a division championship in Seattle. I mean, it was pretty dominant for the most part, and my thing is with this Seattle team, as long as you take care of the football, you should be okay, right? You're wondering if the defense is going to go out there and wet the bed or whatever one day. I think we had that against the Raiders, right? They put up 500 yards, right? Yeah. So I think you got that out the way. You take care of the ball against this opportunistic defense because they're going to give you yards. They'll give you a ton of yards, right? Yeah. Yeah. But if you're not careful with the ball, they'll take it from you, and they will take advantage of that. So that's the main thing with Seattle. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to step outside of yourself too much. If you're Brock, if you're Debo, if you're BA, anybody, right? If you're Kittle, like ED always says, you got to protect that brown baby, right? You protect that thing, and I feel like that increases your chances tremendously to be able to get through here and get out of here. Get out of here with the win.
I agree with what you're saying, right? And the interesting thing about it all is I still in this very moment, like, oh snap, my man, he's in here. Hold on. No, I didn't know this was happening. Hold on, y'all. Let me find this. Oh, he just turned his camera off. Wait a second now. Oh, he over at the party. Hold on. I'm gonna wait till he give us the thumbs up. We're gonna bring my man back. I didn't even know ED was gonna be jumping on. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, man. When his camera comes back on, we'll pop him back in here. He always says something that's like, it sounds so simple.
Simplistic, yeah.
but it's frustrating. He's like, as long as we play Niners ball, it shouldn't be no problem. Like he just says it, and I'm like, yeah, but bro, like we see teams get upset. I want to know how to stay away from the upset. You know what I mean? There he is. I think he's there now. Let's try to get him in here again.
I had to get hooked up. There we go. Can you guys hear me?
There he is.
I couldn't hear you.
Got you loud and clear.
Yeah. What happened?
My God.
It's loud here, man.
It's all right. Hey, listen. So you have this way of just calming down the masses. you say your statements. You're like, hey, play Niners ball and we okay. Oh, he's out
Yeah,
there. Look at the background, man. That was beautiful.
yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
do we stay away from disappointment today,
That's
ED?
the way you look at football. You look at football from the end zone. Yeah. So wait a minute. I'm sorry. What was that, Mike?
How do we stay away from disappointment? Now, I think the hoopla from Carroll, I think that's the okey doke. I think he's doing a little rope-a-dope there, right? Trying to lull us to
No,
sleep.
no, no. See, what you got to know about Pete, and I'm spending time with him really and getting to understand his philosophy during camp. Pete believes that. Pete truly believes that the team, the opponent, is better. He is not trying to sit here and say, guys, across the board, they're loaded. They're loaded. It's going to take our best efforts and things to not go well for them to do it. But I expect you to have a best effort day. That's how he's going to go at it. He's not BSing. He's going to come out and say, it's not Coach B. He meant what he said because he knows. He's a football coach. He's a good one. He knows the team's not as good. So the only thing that is going to prevent the Niners from winning this game, it's not turnovers or anything. It's Kyle. If Kyle, weather games, think about it. Since he's been the head coach, weather games, he's very conservative. His play calling is extremely conservative. That plays right into the Seattle Seahawks hand. So he's got to get outside of his normal weather, in quotation marks, play calling. He's got to get out of that box because that's the only thing that's going to do it, man. Because if they turn the ball over, if they have a bad day, the Niners, that is, they turn the ball over, have a bad day, it'll be a close game and they'll still win. They're better. They're that much better. Dude, this is an average ball. This is an average ball team at best, playing a really good football team.
All right, so when the weather conditions get bad, I don't know how you feel about it, Ray. I feel like, the good teams take a step down. The bad teams don't have nothing to lose, so it's not a big deal. What's the weather looking like out there right now? It looks like it's a little windy.
Mike,
Is it raining?
Mike, I'm sorry, I got to jump in. I just heard you say the team has nothing to lose. The Seattle Seahawks have a playoff game to lose. They have a championship to lose. Both teams are on the same playing field right now. They both have an opportunity to win the championship. They both have an opportunity to lose it today. So none of that, nothing to play for. This is one of those, well, you know what? This one club's going to play harder. No, everybody's going to play as hard as they can, and they're all professionals. They know what's at stake. Trust me. So now you can go.
I think it kind of evens the playing field a little bit, right? Like kind of like what Edie was saying. Kyle tends to get a little conservative. We saw that at Washington a couple years ago. We saw that with Chicago earlier this season, right? And it sort of evens the playing field a little bit. It kind of closes the gap, so to speak, right? And so, I think that's a big deal for Kyle to kind of get out of his head, so to speak, as it relates to that. He goes all in. It's not just the play calling. It's even his play sheet, right? Like I was listening to McVay and who else with LaFleur. They were telling old stories about when they worked for Kyle when he was in Washington and how they had to have that thing exactly right. And McVay screwed it up one game, and Shanahan nearly lost his mind, right? But the game had already started. McVay was like, "Look, we got to move on. Next play, right?" Because he was going to get it. So there's maybe some quirkiness to it, right? Which you can understand. A lot of coaches have their quirks or whatever. But I think to your point, it sort of evens up the gap a little bit. So the main thing is, it hasn't been, at least not yet. ED, you can speak more to this. With you being there, it hasn't been a steady rain, right? It's kind of let up a little bit, prior to kickoff. Now we'll see if we'll get some more once the game starts or not. But in those moments where it's not incredibly wet, or if the rain's not really coming down tremendously, you got to take advantage of that.
Well, since you asked that question, it stopped. It was sprinkling. When I jumped on, it was drizzling. It stopped right now. I was out on the field earlier. The field conditions were great. It's not enough rain that's gonna. If it's like this isn't gonna affect anything. This doesn't have any bearing on a game whatsoever if the weather stays like this. Now, if you get to a monsoon, that's different, but I don't think the weather is going to be an issue. I was talking to some of the old heads earlier. They were like, I hope it just dumps water because they want it to be like old school. But yeah, no, I don't think weather's going to be a big part of this game right here. And I kind of see this one. I personally see this game kind of like 94. And I think we played Chicago the first round. And it was like one of those deals where we were going into it, they stand a chance. I truly believe this squad knows that Seattle has no chance whatsoever of beating them. And they are going to handle business accordingly. That's just me. This is how I feel. So I'm just trying to talk to you guys off the edge. Get off the ledge. No reason to jump. No reason to jump and call.
Hey, look, I'm not on the edge. I don't like when I'm too confident going into a game. That's when I really start to get nervous. And I'm like, nah, we got this one. When I end up disappointed, like against Atlanta, then I'm like, oh man, like why did I let myself get that up? Like, how did I not see this coming, But
it's not a overconfident. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, do y'all trust this pass rush outside of Nick Bosa?
Wait a minute, I lost you there. I don't know if you heard me, Sean.
I mean, so do I trust the pass rush outside of Nick Bosa? That's a very good question.
Oh, easy for me, yes. That's really easy for me. But you can go ahead.
I mean, I tend to say yes, but obviously Bosa impacts it tremendously, right? So, when he's in there, then obviously, he's doing his thing. And thankfully, like he's been in there, right? And so I mean, can that open like in a sense, like I was hoping maybe to see a little bit more like from some other guys, but Bosa's been that dominant, he's been that effective this year that really maybe you really hadn't had to see too much from some other dudes. So I guess the short answer is yes.
Well, is Bosa playing? Is he playing, guys? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I trust the pass rush. Mike, you're talking about all these what ifs. He's playing. I don't have to worry about what it's like when he's not playing. He is playing.
No.
So I don't have to concern myself with what's going to happen if Bosa's not there. Because you're saying, do I trust anybody else? I trust the pass rush. He's a part of it. It ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. So why am I going to concern myself about what would happen if we didn't have Bosa? We got Bosa.
No. I didn't mean if we didn't have him. What I meant was on the opposite side of him. Are they going to get busy on the opposite side of him?
It doesn't matter. He's been. Guess what? Somebody's been on the opposite side of Bosa the entire season, and they got the number one defense and one of the best pass rushers in the league. Ain't nothing going to change today. Why are you worried about? You're just sitting here making up stuff.
I told you I'm trying to find some levelness here. Go ahead, Ray.
No, I mean these are real concerns. You know what I mean? Like this is something I thought about too, Mike. So ED does this, right? He comes in here and he's super confident, and you got a nervous Nelly like myself. That's just kind of okay. All right. You just want to make sure, all your ducks are in a row, whatever. And granted, like, weekly, like pretty soon he's going to start billing me for all the times, he's had to talk me off the list. Secretly, there may be some bills in the mailbox right now. I'm notorious for not checking my mail. There may be some in there right now. But, I mean, it's just one of those things, but like, he has to talk me off. But it is something that I've thought about this season, Mike. So you're not alone in that one.
Okay. All right.
Gentlemen, I'm going to go. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to give you final words because I think you got to get going soon. I'm going to give you another opportunity to go ahead and get your thoughts off before you have to jump off.
Well, no. I'm listening to what you guys are saying. I just told you this is football about matchups, especially playoff football, because there's nothing to save for tomorrow. There's no reason to hide. You're not trying to set the next team up. During the regular season, you're running plays that may not work, but they're going to be effective against the team 3 weeks from now. in that divisional game when you play in Arizona. You want to set them up because you know the importance of that game. Or you're going to play, you got a game against the Cowboys down. You don't do that. Right now it's about matchups. I'm going to put my best X on your O and see if we can win that snap. The Niners are better across the board. They're better. So if my X is handing your O his ass, I'm going to win. Football's not that complicated. You guys sit here and worry about what happens if Bosa's not playing. He is. What happens if they're overconfident? When's the last time confidence been an issue in football? You're supposed to be. If I'm better than you, I'm better than you. Bruh, if I run a 4.4 and you run a 5 flat, I'm going to beat you in the 40 every time. You know it. I know it. All I got to do is run the race. The only way I lose is to not run the race. Since we're going to run the race, you lose. And that's the day. So I'm going to go because I know y'all know how it is at these games. Pretty soon they're going to say, get off that phone, and they're going to shut them down.
Yeah.
So these guys are out here warming up.
Hey, safe travels, big dog. Appreciate you.
All right. I'm gonna get out of this. I got to go to the ocean. I had to come and check out the family, man. Santa Cruz it's crazy up here, man. The Bay is crazy. LA is bad, but bruh, it's crazy up here the way this water is coming in. Somebody pissed Mother Nature off.
We getting it down here too. It's supposed to rain all day today, so we get it too. But nothing like what y'all getting up to. It's the red paint. It's the red paint.
Look, no rain. You see that? You see that?
I see it.
You see when the end zone's red, you know somebody's about to get their tail kicked.
It's red paint. That's what I'm talking about. It's go time. All right,
fellas. All right, it's go time. All right, take it easy.
We'll see.
All right. I think I'm going to have my man Tony jump in here. Tony, you ready? All right. I got the thumbs up from Tony now. Okay, here we go. All right, y'all. So ED was thinking what I was saying was, do we trust the pass rush if Nick Bosa's not there? But that wasn't exactly what my question was. What I'm saying is, who else other than Bosa do you trust to really go out there and be, let's just say, consistent? I'm not looking for, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, we already have the number one defense. I'm not looking for another 20-sack person. I want to know who's going to come out there and be consistent, someone that you can depend on someone else other than Bosa.
So I don't think it's one guy. I think it's Bosa, and then the second guy is the committee, right? So It's Ebukam, it's Willis, right? Like it's a number of different guys that can get in there and create some havoc. We haven't seen the sack numbers, at least from Armstead, as much this year. Haven't really seen him from Hyder as much this season, right? But there's a guy here or there, right? And so I don't know that there's one guy, right? And that kind of goes to kind of what you were saying what you were saying earlier in terms of like, well, at least what I was thinking earlier is like, man, like, okay, what's this rush like without Bosa or whatever, right? But I think that's sort of the answer to it, right? Like there's not one guy per se. I think there's a litany of guys. And so look, I'm fine with that as long as guys continue to do their job, because you got a dog over there on that other side and teams are going to have to account for him, right? And so as you rolling them in, as D'Amico's rolling those dudes in, whoever it is, it's one of those things, right? It's one of those great, sayings in sports. Isn't it amazing what could be accomplished when nobody cares who gets the credit, right? And I think that's kind of what this line personifies away from Bosa.
That might be the team mantra now that you say it like that, Ray. I like that, man. I like that a lot. Right. Tony.
It's the old coach in me, dog. You know what I mean? I can't help it.
I see. I like that. Our resident GM is in the building, man. Tony, do you agree? Is it that it don't matter who we throw out there? Is it we know the names, so we feel like we know that they can do something, or is it really like when their number's called, they're going to answer the bell? Like, how are you feeling about the rest of them?
I just think, first of all, what's up, Rashawn? How are you? And real quick, I just love what ED said. When those end zones are red, someone's getting their ass kicked. I love that. I love those red end zones. I asked Breezy, I said, yo, take a nice picture of those red end zones for me, please. But yeah, I just feel that this team, they operate as a unit up front. Like Rashawn said, it's Armstead, it's Willis, it's Hyder, it's all of them together. Ebukam. I think Ebukam has an opportunity to step up today and try to get a couple nice sacks. But my thing is this: like the sacks are overrated. We all love them, but as long as there's consistent pressure and they can get in the backfield and make Geno or whoever the quarterback is make stupid throws. We've seen it several times in the last couple games. Gibson was benefited from it in the last game, and the game before, I think someone got it deflected or it wound up hitting the ground. They didn't get their hands under it. But as long as this unit rushes together in unison as one, this defensive line is going to be hard to protect. And that's why I'm a more pressure guy than a sack guy. But like I said, I love sacks, but pressure is what it is to make Geno make that stupid or make that wrong throw, and that could cost him in this game. But unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see a lot of throwing from Geno. I think they're going to try to establish a one with I forgot that kid's name. Walker, K9, they call him. Tim Ryan calls him K9.
Walker.
Yeah. So that's just the way I see it. But if they can rush as unison, and one other thing I just want to say, they have to rush discipline. They cannot rush undisciplined because Geno Smith will step up and try to run out of that pocket and create a play with his legs.
Absolutely. Guys, let's go over some 49ers news really quick while we have a chance here. Let's start with the inactives for today. The 49ers list, let me get the frame off of the screen, sorry. The 49ers list is here. Inactives for the day: defensive end Drake Jackson, running back Ty Davis-Price, offensive lineman Nick Zakelj, running back Tevin Coleman, also inactive. Tight end Ross Dwelly, quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and cornerback Ambry Thomas. What stands out to you guys about this list? Because there are some names on here that do surprise me. Maybe a combination of names that surprise me. What are you guys thinking here when you see this list?
I think a few weeks ago, if Dwelly wasn't on there, may have been a little cause for pause, right? But considering 85 looks like one of the best tight ends in the league again, right? I don't know that that's too concerning. We were just talking about pass rush, so immediately, you think about Drake Jackson. But not a whole lot of surprises there. I mean, you think about a difference a year makes, right? This time last year, we were thinking Ambry was going to take a step, right? And we just have not seen that.
Yeah.
And, here he is inactive for, the first playoff game.
Well, Tony, you tell me if I'm crazy. Ty Davis-Price, I expected it once I saw that they elevated Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman's also inactive. Like what is it? They really trust Mitchell, McCaffrey, and Mason, huh? Like that's the giant right there. That's the three-headed giant.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that's what they're going to roll with. I thought when I saw them bring him up, meaning Tevin Coleman, that you would see like quick game lining him up as a slot coming out of the backfield, stuff like that. But then I said to myself, I said, well, we kind of have that in McCaffrey and Mitchell. Maybe not Mason, but McCaffrey and Mitchell, the two of them, I think, like you saw, what game was that? It was last week, right? Where it was just like a 1-2 punch that Arizona simply could just not stop and contain and control. But, I'm really excited for this game. And the one thing that is a little concerning to me, that this is like 3 consecutive games or is it 2 consecutive games that Jackson is inactive.
Jackson's been inactive. Yeah, I don't get it.
That's a little, I mean, I'm not going to say.
Mistaken, this is 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5 too. I know he was active the game prior, and then he missed some before that also.
I'm not saying wave the red flag, but I just feel like, and I said this on a previous show, this team is really, really high in Jordan Willis. And I don't care what anyone says. He's got you think Bosa's got a nonstop motor? This kid's got a nonstop motor as well. And I just feel Kocurek is a little more comfortable with him as an edge guy, meaning like setting the edge in the run game and rushing the passer as well. And again, versatility, sliding inside, sliding, kicking outside. I don't think Drake Jackson gives you that, and that's why I think all these other guys are getting the nod.
Yeah, I think there's some growth there on Jackson's part. I mean, obviously, getting after the quarterback, that's one of the things that he does well, but it's the other stuff, right? But going back to the whole Mason comment, I like Mason. And let's not forget, when it was closing time a few times this season, he was the one, right? If I'm not mistaken, he was the one that closed the door in Seattle. And also, I believe, against New Orleans this year as well. Late in the game, he was the one getting the carries and running the clock out. And so I'm not mad at that at all. That's the three-headed monster at tailback.
And Mike, one thing before you move on, I don't want to say this without getting like attacked, but I kind of like the giving the nod to Janoris Jenkins in this situation over to Ambry Thomas, because I think Ambry Thomas's biggest issue is his confidence, and he's like that type of guy that struggles, that just can't get over it, and that's a major factor as a corner. I wish ED was here. I would have asked him myself, but Janoris Jenkins or Jack Rabbit, whatever his name is, he has that experience. He came in when Ward went down versus Seattle previously, last time they played in Seattle. And, he did the mop-up duties, but he was there. He made a couple nice hits. He made one nice play on the ball. But I just feel like they're more comfortable with that experience than the unknown with Ambry Thomas. Because last year, we all thought he was going to be the corner this year, and he clearly just dropped off the face of the earth on the depth chart.
Yeah, ED has said on our pod, there's a physicality that you sort of have to have that he hadn't seen from Ambry.
Yeah.
And this is something he noticed preseason last year, like his rookie season, like Ambry's rookie year. And it seemed like he kind of made some strides, and I mean, here we are, right?
Yeah. Tony, you have a crackle in your mic. I don't know if it's your ear pods or if you're using the phone or whatever device you're on. I'm not sure which one it is. It's like when you speak, it's like a crinkly sound. I don't know if you want to mute it and then come back off of mute or what. I am going to share the Seahawks inactive list here. Wide receiver Penny Hart, cornerback Artie Burns, strong safety Ryan Neal, linebacker Vi Jones, guard Phil Haynes, defensive tackle Isaiah Mack, and linebacker Joshua Onujiagu.
I'm gonna let you have that one, Mike.
It's not Onujiagu?
I'm gonna let you have it though.
Okay. I tried, man. I tried.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
Any surprises here? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure. Other than Penny Hart, I'm not sure who many of these players are. And I only know of Penny Hart because I was looking for their depth behind Marquise Goodwin when he went down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can't really speak to these dudes too much. I just know that when it comes to Pete, I mean, you mentioned, it's funny, right? You mentioned it earlier. They don't really have anything to lose. Which, I mean, ED says, yeah, they have a playoff game to lose, right? And I think there's something to that. But I think regardless of what happens today, they've exceeded expectations, right? They heisted the Broncos. And here they are in the postseason, first year post Russ. And they also got the number 3 pick. Right? So yeah.
I was trying to mute his mic. Sorry about that.
Is that Breezy?
Yeah, he's out there.
Breezy's like the mayor.
What's good, bros?
Breezy's like the town mayor. He like the flyest dude out there. Everywhere, every time I see you around the crowd.
Hey, Tony,
he's always on the go, man. That's what I was telling him.
Yo, it's beautiful out here, man. I know it's wet, but it's just right. You know what I'm saying? It's just right, bro. The field looks beautiful, Tony. I'm gonna send you some pictures, bro. The field looks beautiful. The faithful's in the building. I don't know if y'all can hear me. but they talking the faithfuls in the building. I just wanted to say, hey, Mike, man, I love you, bro. I'm sorry you can't be here. Tony, Deshaun, I wish y'all were here with us. The gold mine is lit. It's lit right now. About to get crunk up in here. Let's go. It's my man Clayton. And yo, 49ers are going to do what they're supposed to do, man. This junk is written in the history, man. All they got to do is go out there and continue to do what they've been doing all season. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The team just got to keep playing team football, bro. That's what got us here. That's what made us 13-4. And that's what's going to get us into this divisional round. You feel me? That's what's about to go down. Niners all day. Let's go.
All right, my man Breezy with the mic drop. We're gonna let him go too. We appreciate him for jumping in here with us, man. I like it, man. I love the energy. What? Oh.
I can never forget. There's a video of Breezy leading a parade through downtown Seattle on the way to to the stadium on that Thursday night. I'm like, oh, this dude is everywhere.
Ray, I just said that to him. I'm like, yo, not only does he do 50 million shows a week, he goes to games, and I don't know how he manages to do it. Thank you.
Yeah, me neither. I need his agent.
I need his schedule. I don't know. I don't know, man. Hey, man, you know, that takes some love too. By the way, shout out to Mrs. Breezy, because you not my wife ain't letting me
that
go
part. That part. You ain't gotta say no more, Mike. You ain't gotta say no more. That part. Shout out to Mrs. Breezy.
Hey, babe, I'm going to the next 5 games in a row. Okay, you want y'all? I'll see you. You know what I'm saying? No, absolutely not.
The
no
hell?
way, man. All right. So back to this game, guys. We're gonna wrap this thing up soon. We don't have to stay on this a long time, man. The Seahawks are, I don't want to say as healthy as they've been, because they do have some pieces that are lost for the season and things like that. ED made a good point. He said something that I like, but I wish we had a better connection and more time to talk with him about this. Right? He said, "Don't say they don't have anything to lose. They're in the tournament, right? They're playing for Lombardi just like everybody else is right now." So yes, I see you guys. Vader, if y'all want to ask questions, y'all can go ahead and send them in. I had to go through and look for super chats. We do the super chat segment at the end of every show. I don't think I missed any. If I did, I apologize about that. But what I was gonna say was, you know, while I agree with him, they don't have anything to lose. I mean, while I agree with them, they have as much to lose as the Niners as far as the game goes. There's got to be a part of the Seahawks that felt like, I don't know, maybe I'm putting words in their mouth. They weren't supposed to be here, right?
You think money, right?
Right. Yes. Right.
Now,
I signed up for this casino app, right? Out here in PA where I live, and they not only match your bet, whatever your initial deposit is, they give you 5 times that amount, but you have to play it on slots. You can't like cash out, like you have to play it. Okay. So I went to a big pot slot and was playing, 20 times the spin. Then all of a sudden, boom, I hit for $1,200, right? That $1,200 that I won was mine. I'm like, oh, like, here we go. Like, that's the come up right there. It was house money. I would have never made that bet with those stakes with my own money. So that's why I say they have nothing to lose. Like, this is, hey, nobody expected us to be here anyway. Let's go out there and get it.
So I hear what you're saying. But I think the difference is ED comes from the locker room, right? Players don't think that way.
Right.
Now, Pete Carroll, John Schneider, were they maybe having those talks prior to the start of the season behind the scenes? Maybe. But I don't know that you can go up to a guy in the locker room and say, and those guys would tell you, oh, we're just here to play 1 through 17. So I think that's a little bit of the difference, right? And that's something I can't relate to, right? I never strapped them on. I never put on that uniform. I never played in front of the faithful or any, organization for that matter. So I think that's the difference. But from where I sit, from where you sit, and kind of the point I alluded to earlier, like, in a sense, I mean, you just traded your franchise quarterback. You let your franchise linebacker, if you will, walk in Bobby Wagner, right? I mean, this has been a complete rebuild. They're getting significant impact from rookies, You know, they've hit on their picks. They've hit in the secondary. They've hit on the offensive line. But I don't know that they thought that they would be here. I mean, if you're looking at how the NFC West was supposed to shake out, you got the Rams as the defending champions. You got the Niners. You figured they'd be there. You weren't necessarily sure which you would get from the Cardinals, but many people had the Seahawks no higher than third, right?
Mm-hmm.
Entering this season, if that, right? Because you figured Arizona made the playoffs last year. Maybe Kyler, maybe Cliff, maybe they'll take a step. And so I do think there's something to that, maybe from a front office standpoint. But those players, I mean, they there to play. You know, they in a tournament, they want to win, right? They don't care about the next draft pick or the next draft picks or whatever the heist was they got back from Denver. That don't concern them because they playing for themselves and for their teammates.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree. Tony, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Mike, could you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Is it crackling still?
Yeah, it's still the crackle, but don't worry about it. It's all good. It's not terrible to the point where we can't hear you.
No, I think it was well explained by Rashawn there. I mean, that's pretty much how I feel. But I really don't have much to say about it. But because he was pretty much spot on, I just don't want to repeat him, like copy off him. But he was pretty much dead on accurate with what he just said, and I agree with him.
I want to ask you guys a question. If you guys have been watching the games like I have from start to finish, like, you know, live, the Raiders one was the only one I couldn't see from start to finish live, right? I had to go back and do the replay and was popping in and out because I was at a wedding. When I'm in the moment and watching the games, it doesn't feel like the Niners are close to putting up 30 points. But at the same time, by the end of the games, it's like, well, we could have scored so many more. Like, and it's not the point that we could have scored more and the opposing team stopped us. You could clearly see when Kyle's like, okay, that's enough, right? I'm going to share this graphic with you guys, and I want you guys to see how dominant this team has been during this 10-game win streak, okay? I want you guys to see this. Is that graphic showing on the screen right now? Let me get the banner off. I'm sorry, the border. I want y'all to see this, right? And underneath it are the scores of these games. Okay? The 49ers haven't lost since October. They put up 31 points. Okay, 22 against the Chargers. 38 points. Tough defensive battle. 13 against the Saints. 33 against the Dolphins. 35 against the Bucks. Seattle held us pretty well, right? 21 points against Seattle. 37 against Washington. 37 took overtime against Oakland. And 38 against the Cardinals. This team is putting up points, but like in the moment, you can see that they could do more if they wanted to. You could tell, like that Seahawks game, we were in scoring opportunity. They were like, nah, we're just getting out of here. The Washington game, I'm pretty sure that was a game where we were like in the shadow of the goal line and we just took knees and like we're going home, right? He didn't settle for a field goal. He didn't try to score. We're just going to go. That was a 40-point game if they wanted. Oakland, they get the turnover in the overtime period. He gets to the goal to go and just kicks a field goal. He didn't even try to score a touchdown. Like, let's just bring Robbie back out here. Let's let him redeem himself. Let's go home. Josh Johnson comes in at the end of the last game against the Cardinals for 2 or 3 series, doesn't attempt a single pass. It's run, punt, run, punt, run, punt. No attempting at scoring there, and they put up 38. What do you guys expect from this 49ers offense today? Do you expect to see more of the same? Or, because ED said something that, you know, it's the playoffs. There is no tomorrow. There's no more trying plays out that you don't think might work. You got to go in here and you got to win these games. But that doesn't mean you can't take your foot off the gas if enough of what you designed did work. So what do you guys expect from the offensive performance today?
So we had a couple different conversations on the pod about this. The first conversation was, this is when Jimmy was starting. What's wrong with the offense, right? Why aren't they putting up the numbers, this, that, or the other? And then you look at it and you look around the league and you're like, okay, well, maybe scoring's down. Maybe that's just the reason why the offense isn't putting up those numbers. Maybe why we're not seeing those 30-point games. And then you flip the page. 8 times this year, the Niners have gotten over 30 points. 4 of those times have been with Mr. now relevant at quarterback. And so I think he's been able to open up something in this offense that we just have not seen, that we didn't see with Trey, obviously, and we didn't see with Jimmy. I think it's his ability to not necessarily stretch the field, right? He doesn't have like this big arm, but I think he's taking advantage of some of those longer intermediate throws, right? Something that we just didn't see, when 10 was under center. And but not only that, it's the addition of McCaffrey too. And ED's point was, this was the guy Kyle said he needed to be able to open up his offense. So, as much flowers as we want to give to Purdy, I think a large amount of that bouquet goes to, CMC as well, just because of what he brings, just how dynamic he is as a runner, but also in the pass game as well. Because, you think about it, like, they've done this. Like, CMC's been the constant, right? But, like, Debo's missed some time, right? Elijah's been out, right? Like, but ever since McCaffrey got here, he's sort of been the constant. And so I think this is Kyle's offense, right? This is how he wants to run his offense. And I think Purdy has done a great job of that. But I think McCaffrey, once he's gotten here, he's been a difference maker. I can't hear you, big dog.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I want to ping pong something off of you really quick. And like I said, we'll wrap this up. I want to talk about offensive expectations, defensive expectations, and we'll go home. But I keep hearing that as good as McCaffrey is, he hasn't made a difference. Like, they're talking about the average rushing yards per game and things like that. They're saying that they're not seeing a difference in the 49ers production. But correct me if I'm wrong, it's more than just production you get from McCaffrey. It's commitment by the defense, right? Like, remember the Marquise Goodwin effect, right? Marquise Goodwin came out here, but if he was on the field, you had to respect the deep ball. You weren't going to have a safety just playing up on him because of that respected Olympic speed, right? Like, isn't there something else that he brings to the table other than just stats?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Because if you look at his numbers, they aren't that much different than what he put up in Carolina first part of this year, right? Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden he puts on the colors, and now like people are looking at him as like, oh, Pro Bowl snub and all this other stuff, right? When the numbers been pretty much the same.
Right.
And if you give Elijah and McCaffrey the same numbers, right? Who's the defense going to pay more attention to? They're going to pay more attention to CMC, right? And that's on his reputation, right? But not only that, I think it's the versatility that he brings to the offense as well. Because you can line him up in the backfield, but he's a threat in the passing game as well. You can split him out wide, you can put him in the slot. I think there's so many different things that he unlocks in this offense for Kyle that it looks different, right? Like my whole thing was like loved Raheem, right? Loved Jeff Wilson Jr., right? But before,
I feel some hate coming. When they start with love, I know where this is going.
Before those guys left, right? Like and even Elijah Mitchell, right? Like, biggest thing with Elijah is like, he's got to stay in the lineup, right? But prior to the McCaffrey trade, it was like, okay, I'm not mad with a Mitchell and a Jeff Wilson Jr., 1-2 punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you bring McCaffrey in, and I can't deny this, it looks different. Like, it just does, right? Like, there's something that he brings to y'all. And, like, McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell, he's as fast as they come, right? Wilson, he can hit the hole with the best of them, right? He brings so much to the offense from a run game perspective. But there's other things that McCaffrey brings to this offense that just opens it up for Kyle, right? Like, for them to go out and get this guy, Kyle had to say, look, this is the missing piece to my offense. And so far, we've seen it. Like, if you go no further, you just go to that first game against the Rams. He's running it, he's throwing it, and he's passing it for a touchdown. What else do you want from the guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the big debut.
I agree. All right, so let's talk offensive real quick. Let's talk defensive. And I got one super chat we'll get to, and then we'll wrap this thing up here. I don't know if you guys do score predictions or not, but maybe your mind has changed since the last time you guys were live or last time you guys recorded. What are you expecting from this offense today? Do you expect more passing yards or more rushing yards? Let's start there.
More rushing yards.
More rushing yards than passing. I'm inclined to agree with you, man. A lot of people were really excited about what we did last week, and I don't think Brock Purdy threw for like 160. I don't know what he did against the Cardinals. Actually, let me look that up really quick. But I thought he finished the game with like 150 something like that, right? Let me see.
There was one game he had like
that. Oh, it was 178. I'm sorry, it was 178. So you think we're gonna have more rushing yards than passing yards today?
I think more rushing yards. Yeah.
Okay. 49ers leading rusher. Elijah Mitchell is back. Let me be very clear. And that man looks hungry. He looks like he's determined to make a name for himself. 49ers leading rusher. Mitchell, Mason, or McCaffrey?
I'm gonna go McCaffrey.
Okay, gonna go with McCaffrey. I like that. 49ers leading receiver. Now, when I say receiver, please include George Kittle in that also.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm going. I'm going 85. I mean, there's a connection that between 13 and 85 that we haven't seen since 10 and 85 back in 2019, right? I mean,
is it though?
I think so. I mean, like for me, it's
in the end zone, in the red zone, yes, right. But I still feel like George getting 5 or 6 for 65 yards, 45 yards. I don't think he's going crazy.
But prior to that, I mean, he was a good blocker, right? I mean, like let's keep it a buck. Like I feel like over the course of the last 2 seasons, we've been like, and a lot of it. Me was my angst towards Kyle in the sense of like, why isn't this guy getting more touches, right? Like, why isn't he being included more in the offense? I mean, even last season postseason run, right? Like it was all Debo, right? Like it wasn't a whole bunch of Kittle, and you know, it was now he's looking like the guy who many people consider to be either the top or the number 2 tight end in the league, and we haven't seen that guy in a couple of seasons, at least in my opinion, and we've started to see that ever since Brock has taken over.
Right. Okay. I like that. Where are we at now? We're gonna go with so we talked about receiving. You're gonna go with George Kittle. I'm gonna take Brandon Ayuk for the leader for the day. I think that Kittle and I think Pete makes it a point to take away Kittle, and I think he makes it a point to take away Debo, believe it or not. And there was a part of me that wanted to include Debo in the rushing thing, but I don't think Kyle does that quite yet. I think he lets Debo get another game or 2 under him before he starts to do that with him. I do agree with you with the McCaffrey. I think I'm going to take the Niners passing, though. I think they're going to pass for more yards this game.
Pass for more yards.
I think it's going to be a low yard game. I think it's going to be a lot of ground and pound and eating the clock up. And so I think it's going to be like 165 to like 150. I think it's going to be really, really close, but I think it's going to be like that. This defense, though, how many sacks in total you think the Niners are going to get today? Sacks. Because we not really sack monsters like that. Let's be honest now. We not Philly. Philly and Dallas, they got like 3 or 4 linemen with at least 8 sacks. Like they just go out there and just go get it. You know, like we're not that. Now we do have a Nick Bosa. 18 and a half, led the league. Congrats to him. But
my first inclination is 3. But that might be. I'll go with 3 because that was my very first thought. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was under that.
Okay, that's a solid number. Actually.
I think that would be a good day. I think 3 would be a good day.
Yeah, that's a very solid number. All right, 3 sacks. All right, what about turnovers? How many turnovers for each team, and what kind, if any at all? I know you guys don't really do the predictions. I wanted to keep you fresh, keep you on your toes a little bit here.
Turnovers. I think I'll go +1. So I'll go 1 for the Niners, 2 for the Seahawks.
2 turnovers for the Seahawks. Okay. All right. And then I got one for you. Special teams. Talk to me about special teams. What are you expecting to see from the special teams unit? Because they've been up and down. Now, Pete Carroll, playoff time. Here come a fake punt. Here come an onside kick. But the Niners have his swag guy right now, right? The Niners go out there and they get him from Seattle. do we bring out something this postseason, or do we just say, nah, now's not the time. We too good. We don't need to do that.
I mean, it kind of depends on how the game goes and what it. But I mean, I'd have to say no. I don't see that happening. I think Seattle will be more inclined to run some trick play or something like that from a special team standpoint than the Niners will be. I just don't see that. I just don't see that happening.
Okay. All right. And then last but certainly not least, man, I'm just going to ask you for a final score prediction, bro. Tell me how you think this game breaks down. Tell me who you are hoping to see win.
I think it's going to be a gritty game, right? I think they're gonna make Brock work for it a little bit. I similar to how I feel like the Raiders made Brock work a little bit, right? They got some pressure to him. They hit him a little bit. You know, it wasn't easy. And so I think it'll be that. Although I don't think it'll be nearly as many yards today as it was in that Raider game. And so I'm thinking it's gonna be a one possession game in favor of the Niners. I think similar to what we saw in Seattle, right? It was 21-13 in Seattle, something along those lines. I think we'll see something similar to that. What was the score in Seattle? It was 21-13 on Thursday night.
Yeah.
So I think something close to that. One possession. I think something close to that.
I like it, man. I like it. Ray, man, I want to thank you for jumping in here. You held me down for the whole show, man. I appreciate you, bro. And I say it to y'all through text. I say it to y'all every time y'all come on here. If y'all ever need anything from me, please don't hesitate to let me know. Hey, Mike, do me a favor. Post this link. We did a special show. I don't care what it is. Y'all just say the word. Y'all have held me down every time I call on y'all. I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I'm surprised that the baby didn't make an appearance. Where's she at? What's going on?
You surprised. She was so thankfully it's nap time. So she was just finishing lunch when I came down here, and then wifey knew I was doing this, and so she took her right upstairs. So I'm it's quiet, so I'm thinking she's napping right now. It's nap time, so hopefully she getting her nap in right now.
All right, man. That's it.
Hey,
man.
but you've been holding us down since day one, big dog. So I appreciate you too, man. Anything I can do to help, you know that it's always been love, man. So I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. You did your thing, man. I told him I had one in the pump today, you know, like playing spades, one in the pos. I knew I had the one guest locked in. I didn't know ED was gonna make it, and man, you did your thing over there, man. So I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, man.
It's always fun coming on here, big dog.
All right, we'll talk to y'all soon, man. And y'all be safe, okay?
No doubt.
All right, man. Faithful, that's going to do it, man. We'll see y'all over at the Patreon. That's where the game is live. That's where we're going to be. Make sure y'all head on over there. If you don't know already, patreon.com/NB Niners. That is it. We are done. We'll see y'all over there. Prepare for glory. Anticipate pain. But always, especially right now, y'all, always remain faithful. We out of here. Peace.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing